Oh, I just hit play, or record, not play. Obviously, if I hit play, I would be watching another video and not recording this one. And a bug flew like almost right in my mouth, so that's what that was. Hooray. Internet, back to back for me, but let's just take a look at it again. I busted up my finger. It's all swollen. Kind of hurts. That's about as far as I can straighten it. I can't, like... Anywho. If you're moving heavy furniture, get a friend. Phone a friend, internet. Use your lifelines. Literally, so you don't kill yourself. That would be a lifeline, right? Oh, it's also getting a little hot and sweaty, and it's not sliding back on. Woo! Labrys! What? Yes, the Labrys. That's what this thing is called. Labrys. Check the link down below. This thing... Now, much like yesterday's video of the Astra, the Labrys, it's got the arms cut down a little bit. It's a pre-order. I think planning on shipping, or... That's pretty cool. Oh, look at the little Damn Designs logo animating around. Shipping around September 15th. So for me, this form factor, looking at the shape of it, when I pre-ordered this in tungsten, I pre-ordered this version, and if you watched yesterday's video, which I don't think I mentioned the weight, I believe it's going to be 77 grams. I think I started talking about how much this one weighs, but it's going to be about 77 grams without the buttons. Oh crap, I didn't look this one up. This will be a little bit more, not a ton, but it's going to get streamlined down a little bit. But I thought that this was the design, just the shape of it. Maybe in tungsten it would be different, and I would have liked that one more, but this shape, I really, really enjoy the shape, this form factor. With having the cutouts in the middle, it reduces the weight, but it's a nice slab of metal. It's thick, it's chunky, but it's still light enough to really have that fast sort of fidgeting with, right? There's something about a big, heavy tungsten spinner. You get a different sensation if that's what you like, sweet. But this can kind of maybe open the door for either, either spin fam on either side, right? I'm thinking Eric, who always wants a bigger spinner, right? And I think Aaron likes a bigger spinner as well. But the industry, the spinner, what is more popular more often is the smaller spinners. But if you're on this big spin side, you can try this to have a somewhat larger feeling spinner in terms of like the physical size, but fidgets like a lighter spinner. And if you like the lighter spinners, you can kind of get your lighter fidgeting feel with a much thicker, heavier, I shouldn't say heavier, but like a much thicker style body, right? Like that's a pretty thick body, especially with the thick chunky buttons here. And I'm not 100% sure which buttons come on which. I like the thicker buttons on this quad more than I like the thicker buttons on this. Here, let's just throw this on here. Let's do it live, internet. Let's try it out. Because I've switched them back and forth a couple times, but I really did it more for feeling what I liked on this as opposed to really thinking about what I liked on this one. But I did like the thicker buttons on this more than I liked it on that, so that's kind of how I ran. This one with the thicker buttons for me just didn't, there was something that it really took away from, where adding the thicker buttons to this didn't seem like it took anything away. Well, how do we feel about the thicker versus the thin, specifically on this one? Oh, that's all right. I can kind of go either way on the quad with the thin and the thick, but on the tri, the thin really was what did it for me, so. We'll go back to that. We'll go back to where we were. Much like yesterday, internet, we got the press fit bearing in there, so get yourself a flashbang or a Fidget HQ bearing removal tool, or a, I don't know if the guy at True Spin is still selling them. Spinetic makes one. Thrax makes a really cool looking one. Thrax is probably the most expensive one, but looks kind of the coolest too, so. But then none of them are expensive. Even the Thrax one's $40. It's a little bit for a bearing removal tool. But you're looking at $20-25, I think, for the Fidget HQ and the Damn Designs one. So, but much like yesterday, and much like I mentioned in the last reviews, these buttons I don't have an issue with them coming loose. It's just this counter spiral design makes it feel like they've come loose a little bit. But that hasn't been an issue where these buttons have come loose on me, really. So, we'll almost get to the warp. I'm not good at balancing, especially trying to hold it in frame and look more at the frame than looking at my finger. I'm no Jack Hazard. Well, I want that really balanced. I'm at a weird angle on this bench that I'm holding my hands up at, guys. That's no excuse. Warp it like a tot, warp it like a tot. Sorry about the dirty buttons too. I should have cleaned those off. So they'll come from Adrian nice and clean, don't you worry. Over at Damn Designs. So yeah, fidget wise, fidgeting is good. The way these arms are as well, I probably should keep talking about fidgeting, but just because it's on my mind and we started to transition to spin time is what I was thinking. I don't know what the distribution of weight difference is, or maybe it's just the bearing that's in it. But this guy got almost 8 minutes, 7 minutes and 50 something seconds on a table spin, and just shy of 10 minutes on a vertical spin, which is pretty solid. So really pretty decent spin time from these guys as well, for you spin time fam out there. So kisses all you guys. But yeah, fidgeting wise, so it's a quad, so no matter what you do, your finger's going to land in a good spot. If you need to land in the middle for preloaded, or not, I guess it's not so much a preloaded, I guess it's sort of preloading. You're kind of like cocking it and getting that backwards momentum to push against, as opposed to here, you're kind of putting lateral pressure and then pulling in. But you can rock it forward really well. You can pull it down, use the galloping fingers, you can kind of throw it. Ooh. There we go, internet. Oh, also, since it's a quad, it'll warp at different speeds than this will. This needs multiples of 3, this needs multiples of 2, because of the way the arms are offset. So it's probably easier to do warps on this guy. So, if that makes sense. If that didn't make sense, sorry, maths. But yeah, rock and roll on this thing all day. So fidgetability is really high with this, and I think especially like thinning out the arms a little bit will drop this weight and put this at a pretty sweet spot, because it is, again, just like yesterday's spinner. I mean, that's a pretty big spinner when you look at the arms side to side, right? Like, it's almost, I've got pretty big hands too, like that's like the width of my hand. This is the larger of the Damn Designs cases I didn't show off yesterday, and it fills, I won't say fills it, but I mean it definitely takes up a larger portion of that case. Ba-ba-ba-ba! I didn't even try it. I just almost centered that in frame here. Hope the road noise hasn't been too bad. There is construction on the road behind me, but they're pretty much done for the most part. But there are some big trucks driving back and forth with, pavement and dump trucks and that sort of thing. Those sorts of things doing their things. But that's what happens when you're outside. And I talk loud. I also talk fast, so it's probably hard to... Anyway. We digress, don't we, internet? But yeah, so fidgetability, I do prefer this quad style. For me, the quad style is more where it's at. The spin is, it's pretty subtle, but it's a little more balanced because you've got more weight distributed more evenly across the spinner. It certainly doesn't have any judder or wobble like like a bar would have. But yeah, it's pretty rock solid. So can't really think of too much else to say on this guy. That's what happens when we do these outside reviews. They're a little faster. I feel like if I don't hit 10 minutes these days, it ain't a review, but look at that. That's actually kind of nice. Even though my finger's busted, I just do two-handed spins. The gyro on these as well, because they are kind of thick and heavy, is pretty solid. I should mention on the other one as well, like, it's a pretty solid gyro effect we get going on here. So if you're a fan of that gyro, I imagine it would be reduced, obviously, with less weight, but still pretty solid gyro. So, anywho's. Well, there you have it, internet. The Labrys, $45 as well, if I didn't mention it. It's a steal. You got to check it out. So, yeah. Let's go inside and get in some air conditioning because it's hot out and I'm sweating. Kisses, internet. Oh, look at the logo right there inside. Don't talk about it. Just let it be.